Coming up on the 2014 FIFA World Cup magazine, we journey to the heart of the Amazon rainforest. We're in Eastern Europe to meet one of the many Brazilians playing their football overseas. And in Sao Paulo, we get a lesson in the roots and the history of football in Brazil. But we begin in Asia with a man who's had quite a say in Brazil's footballing past.
It would be marvellous to be able to take the national team of Iraq to a World Cup in Brazil. One of the reasons behind me accepting this challenge was the fact that I knew it would give me a good opportunity of realising that possibility.
Zico is no stranger to the FIFA World Cup, having played in 3 and coached at 1 finals tournament. He never got his hands on the famous trophy, but he was in the team that many consider the greatest side never to win the FIFA World Cup. It was 1982 and Brazil made light work of the group stage, winning all 3 of their matches and scoring 10 goals in the process. The Soviet Union, New Zealand and Scotland were all put to the sword. The second round had started in similar fashion for the Seleção, with a 3-1 victory over neighbours Argentina. Next up was Italy, and the winners would progress to the semi-finals.
Brazil had a great team in 1982, with great players. The team played some terrific matches, but one day they simply made more errors than usual. That's how we were eliminated, and that's how the World Cup works. You can't make errors. When you play knockout football, if you lose, you're eliminated, which is exactly what happened to us against Italy.
Three decades on, Zico is coaching Iraq after spells in Japan, Turkey, Uzbekistan, Russia and Greece. Iraq is a nation that loves its football and is keen to return to the game's greatest stage for the first time since 1986. The Brazilian took charge in August 2011 and successfully steered them through Asia's 3rd round of qualifying, topping a group that featured Jordan, China and Singapore. Round 4 is proving altogether more difficult though, and 4 games in, Iraq were bottom of Group B with just 2 points to their name. November's fixture against now familiar opponents Jordan was not yet a must-win encounter, but another defeat would deal a serious blow to their ambitions of reaching Brazil.
Now we've reached the most difficult phase, and we're playing the best teams in Asia. Our team is very gifted technically, but if we're to overcome our opponents, we need to grow more and evolve.
Iraq, here in green, have played all of their home games in Qatar of late, and Doha was once again the venue for this fixture with Jordan. And it was the Jordanians who created the first half's best opportunity. The Iraqi goal led a charmed life in the second half as well. Then, with 4 minutes remaining, Iraq engineered one of the best moves of the match, and when the ball arrived at the feet of Hamadi Ahmed, there was only one thing on his mind. Once the celebrations had died down, there was still time for Jordan to launch a last attack of their own, but Iraqi captain Noor Sabri produced an impressive double save to ensure a much-needed 1-0 victory for Zico's men. Whilst Iraq were winning in Doha, in Muscat, Oman were hosting Group B's runaway leaders Japan. and Fauzi Bashir should have given the home side an early lead. The Asian champions were far more clinical, and Hiroshi Kiyotaki, one of several Japanese players in Germany's Bundesliga, opened the scoring on 20 minutes. Previously unbeaten at home in this final round of qualifying, Oman were back on level terms when Ahmed Mubarak's free kick somehow found its way through a crowded penalty area. A point would have lifted Oman into second in the group, but they didn't even get that. With time running out, Shinji Okazaki was on hand to secure a 2-1 victory for Japan, who'll qualify for a 5th straight finals if they can win in Jordan in March. Meanwhile, in Tehran, 3-time finalists Iran missed their chance to move top of Group A, following a surprise 1-0 defeat at home to Uzbekistan. The Iranians, in red, thought they'd taken a first-half lead, but Mohamed Nouri's effort was disallowed as one of his teammates had strayed into an offside position as he unleashed his shot past Ignatiy Nestorov. The Uzbeks had never beaten Iran, so Ulugbek Bakayev's winning goal was a little bit of history for them as they seek to qualify for a FIFA World Cup for the very first time. So here's the state of play after November's fixtures. The top 2 nations in each group will qualify, with the third-place teams playing off to decide who will go forward to face a South American side in the Intercontinental playoff. Only 2 matches were played in Europe in November, with Azerbaijan making the long trip to Belfast to face Northern Ireland, who were without a win in 6 games under new manager Michael O'Neill. The home side qualified for successive World Cups in the 1980s, but it's been a struggle since then. Here, against a team they were expected to beat, Northern Ireland found themselves a goal behind after just 5 minutes when Rauf Aliyev scored a spectacular opener for Bertie Vogt's men. The home side created enough chances to win 2 or 3 games in the first half alone. Craig Cathcart guilty of missing the target on this occasion. In the 6th minute of time added on at the end of the game, though, David Healy rescued a point for Northern Ireland with his 36th goal for his country. In truth, neither Michael O'Neill nor his counterpart Bertie Vogts will have been happy with the draw, which leaves both nations well adrift of Group F leaders Russia with 6 games to play. Montenegro were 3-0 winners over San Marino in Europe's only other game in November, and they now top Group H ahead of England. Only the group winners will qualify automatically. Just 6 nations are still standing in the North, Central America and Caribbean zone, and for them qualifying resumes in February with the first of 10 rounds of fixtures. The top 3 will make it, with the 4th place team facing Oceania's representative in another playoff. Nicknames are all the rage in Brazil. Most players have a moniker, but where do they come from and what do they mean? You're about to find out.
I was born Eleonor Nascimento Ribeiro, and during my infancy there was another footballer by the name of Eliomar Nascimento Ribeiro. So the only difference between our names was 1 letter. When we were young, people would get us mixed up, but at least the supporters were very kind to us. One of the main strengths of the ABC players is our ability to head the ball. The other player was nicknamed Bombi, and I was dubbed Bombinha because people said that we headed the ball like a bomb. From then on, I was nicknamed Bomba, but I preferred Bombinha, and it stuck. So we were Bombi and Bombinha, and I really liked the nickname. Now it's strange when people call me Eleonor. I'm Bombinha, and I love the name. It's something that will stay with me for the rest of my career.
name is Michael Cartwright, and I'm a guide at Rio Amazon Towers. I work with English-speaking clients. Now, Ariau, the word Ariau was coined from Aria. Aria is the name of a species of potato that used to grow on the banks of the Ariau River. The natives used to pull out the potato, boil it, and eat it. So they call the river Potato River, Ariau. Ariau Amazon Towers can be named a comfortable base in the Amazon rainforest, not a hotel. It's a comfortable base with comfortable air-conditioned rooms. It has got two different architectural designs, which are one, the Indian roundhouse design. Indians build a roundhouse in the forest. And two, the Amazon native architectural design of building on stilts, which are called palafitas. Rio Amazon Towers is situated in the heart of the Amazon rainforest. The Amazon rainforest, 7.6 million square kilometers, with 68% in Brazil. A lot of people, when they hear that the Amazon rainforest is being destroyed, the first country's name that comes to their head is Brazil. Brazil is a country that is doing a lot to protect and preserve her part of the Amazon rainforest. She has bought surveillance satellites from America, and they're surveilling the Brazilian part of the Amazon rainforest 24 hours a day. And the Amazon basin is very important to the world. The Amazon rainforest is a climatic equilibrium, and it should be preserved so that our great-great-great-grandchildren would be able to see it and to benefit from it. Because it's important to the world because of the mature forest's ability to absorb carbon dioxide, which, as you know, is proving a problem for us. Well, caiman spotting. We go out, we see the caimans, we show the guests the caimans. Sometimes we catch a small one. And we explain to guests, we give them a history of the caiman, an explanation about its physical characteristics, gestation period. They take pictures and so on. And then we release it back into the water. We are hoping that the World Cup would attract so many tourists, so many guests here, so many foreigners too, Brazilians. So when we say guests, we speak of Brazilians, we speak of foreigners, strangers, you know, would come to the Amazon, would come to Manaus, see Manaus for what it is, and take the message back to where they come from, so that more could come, so that tourism in the Amazon would increase, which would benefit the Amazon. Now, the Amazon River is the largest river in the world, also the longest. It's 140 kilometers longer than the Nile. Has a length of 6,996.8 kilometers. That is the largest river in the world. It discharges approximately 190,000 cubic meters to 200,000 cubic meters per second into the Atlantic Ocean. The Amazon River, flowing at full capacity, can give 1 liter of water to every living person on the planet every 28 seconds. We would like to share what we have here with the world, but at the same time, making sure that the Amazon, that Brazil, benefits from it too. Thank you.
Brazilians love their football, and football loves its Brazilians. Boys from Brazil are plying their trade the world over. So we've made it our business to track them down, wherever they may be. Our first stop, Armenia.
My name is Alex Enrique da Silva. I was born in Ribeirão Preto, Sao Paulo. Today I'm a defender, but I can also play on the wing and anywhere on the right. I've been in Armenia for 6 years, playing for Mika Football Club. I started my playing career at Botafogo, a football club in Ribeirão Preto. I played for another Brazilian team called São Carlos. Before joining Armenia's Mika, I had a 4-month spell with Volga Ulyanovsk in Russia's second division. As a youngster, I remember watching the 1990 World Cup on television with my parents. There was the Brazil-Argentina game, which Brazil lost to a single goal by Claudio Caniggia. I remember thinking, I want to do this, I want to play football. So I began training at a football academy when I was 6 years old. My first idol was Romario, who I admired greatly. He played for Barcelona at the time, and during his career there, I followed his progress closely. I liked Romario a lot. The best moment of my career so far came in 2005, when I joined São Carlos. We managed to win the 4th division title in the state of São Paulo. I started to get more playing time, and that got me noticed. Eventually, I received an invitation to come here to Armenia. For me, that was the highlight of my career. What I miss most about Brazil is my family, my 2 children, my wife, the whole family. My dad, my mum, my sisters, and people from my extended family. They are what I miss most when I'm here in Armenia. As a Brazilian, I must be optimistic about the World Cup. I think Brazil have a great chance to become world champions. We have a revamped team. The coach is building a new group of players, and because the World Cup is being staged in Brazil, I think our team will be able to draw on the fervent support they will get from our fans, as well as the emotion that comes with playing a World Cup on home soil. I think all of these factors will give the team a boost. This will be a key factor, as playing the World Cup at home can be a huge advantage.
In the neighbourhood of Vila Madalena in the west of Sao Paulo, there's a restaurant that's sure to get busy when the FIFA World Cup comes to town. São Cristóvão is the name of the establishment, and its walls and ceilings are adorned with memorabilia from the beautiful game. Opened in 2000, it was the brainchild of Leonardo Silva Prado, who came up with the idea whilst he was living in London.
I saw that the majority of pubs paid homage to English heroes, like Admiral Nelson. Brazil's a place that doesn't have a history of war. We simply don't have that. Our idols aren't admirals or generals. Our idols are football players. They are our warriors. So with that thought in mind, I said to myself, when I go back to Brazil, I'll open a bar that's dedicated to our warriors, the well-known and the anonymous.
Prado named the restaurant in honour of his late uncle, a huge fan of São Cristóvão, who were Rio state champions once, way back in 1926. He himself supports another Rio club, Vasco da Gama, but felt his uncle's heroes were a better choice for the nameplate above the door.
In reality, it's a way of showing my love for football by choosing a team that's not so good, because our football was also built up by the humble teams, by the weaker clubs. It's the same with football all over the world. England's not just about Arsenal. There's the likes of Charlton and other small teams from the second or third division. In Italy, all over the world, it's the same. So the way to pay homage to football is by liking the humble, small and weaker teams as well, because they're the ones that bring extra flavour to our football.
There are more than 4,000 items on show here, although none, we're told, have any monetary value. It's a collection of photos, drawings, cartoons and clippings, many of which are donated by visitors from Brazil and beyond. So why do people come here? For dinner or for the decor?
What might happen is that people come here for the first time because of the memorabilia. But if I don't offer them good service, good food, tasty drinks and a pleasant environment, they won't come back. Thanks to God, that's not been the case. Our clients always come back.
With 6 games scheduled for Sao Paulo in 2014, Prado can expect to be busy. And if everyone brings a piece of memorabilia, he may well need to extend. There's another corner of Sao Paulo, not far from the Estádio de Pacaembu, where evidence of Great Britain's influence in these parts remains to this day. In the late 19th century, Sao Paulo Athletic Club, or SPAC for short, was founded by British immigrants as a meeting place for employees of the London Bank, the city's gas company, and Sao Paulo Railway, whose British workers helped take football to many corners of Brazil.
When the railway came, they brought a lot of engineers and technicians, and they had played football in England. So when they came here, and they were the beginners, let's say, the professors of of football in São Paulo. And as they went inwards in the country, building the track lines and several little cities coming, each little city would have its teams. Football teams. So really the railway is one of the most important factors of Brazil being so good in football.
John Mills, a British immigrant and a SPAC member, has taken a keen interest in the history of football in Brazil since his arrival in South America in the 1960s. He soon discovered that one of the railway employees, a certain Charles Miller, was instrumental in introducing the game to Brazil. Born in Sao Paulo to a British father and a Brazilian mother, Miller was schooled in England, where he tried his hand at both football and cricket.
In April 1895, which is only 6 months after he came back, he organized the first, I wouldn't say official, because official people say that it's government. No, the first football game with the rules, because when he came back, in his bag he brought 2 balls, right? They were practically unknown here. The official football book rules of 1863 from the Freemasons Tavern in London, and he brought 2 pair of boots, his pair of boots, a pump to pump the ball, and his school strip.
The sport soon spread to other parts of Brazil, but it remained primarily a white man's recreation. In 1914, though, with the formation of Santa Cruz in the northeast of the country, things began to change. Despite opposition from many other clubs, Santa Cruz fielded black players in their team from the very outset.
In 1914, then Santa Cruz in Recife and Vasco da Gama in Rio were the ones who, allowed black people to play. That was the beginning of the future, right? They wanted a black player to play for Fluminense, but he couldn't play, so he put powder in his face. That's why the nickname of Fluminense is pó de arroz, which is the white powder that you make from rice to whiten your face.
Those days were long gone by the time Brazil finally got their hands on football's greatest prize. It was 1958, and the squad that travelled to Sweden was truly multiracial, with the youthful Pelé the undoubted star of the show. It was the first of 5 World Cup triumphs for the Seleção, and came just 8 years after Brazilian football's darkest hour, their loss to Uruguay in the final game of the 1950 tournament in Rio de Janeiro.
There's the famous composer from Rio, Vinicius de Moraes, the one who composed A Garota de Ipanema. He made a little phrase. From death, you are reborn immensely. Meaning, in 1950, you died, but then you were reborn, and then you're greater than you were. Now you're the greatest. And I think that Brazilian football today, with the players they have all over the world, is one of the greatest.
Next time, we return to Sao Paulo for the draw for the 2013 FIFA Confederations Cup. Dida shares his many memories of that competition, having played in it 5 times. And who'll succeed Corinthians as Brazilian champions? All will be revealed next month. See you then.